They let me pick. Did I ever tell you that? Choose whichever Spartan I wanted. You know me. I did my research, watched as you became the soldier we needed you to be. Like the others, you are strong and swift and brave. A natural leader. But you had something they didn't. Something no one saw but me. Can you guess? Luck.
You know, it's funny. 10 years ago, people were mocking the idea of Cloud Strife getting into Smash Bros. And these days, characters like Master Chief are coming up in discussion as legitimate possibilities to get an Ultimate. Not everyone is convinced that Chief would work in Smash, or that he could get in the first place. I fought for characters like K. Rool and Ridley back in the Smash 4 days because I thought they should be playable, and now that they're finally in, I'm going to support the Chief to be included in Smash, either as DLC for this game or for a future Smash title. As well as Tails, but that's a discussion for another day. Why should Master Chief get in, I hear you ask? After all, there are probably tons of other characters that are more requested or have bigger ties than Nintendo in its history. Why Chief over these characters? Well, I've got a few reasons for that. First off, Chief would be a great character to represent Microsoft in Smash. The Big N and Microsoft have been pretty buddy-buddy as of late, from crossplay to the Nintendo versions of Minecraft getting exclusive content. These two giants of the industry are getting along so well, so why not celebrate this by putting a Microsoft character in Smash? Chief's not alone here as an option, as Banjo and Steve are pretty popular Microsoft picks as well, but I think Chief would get a bigger reaction out of people, in a good way. He's basically the mascot of the Xbox after all. The next big point for Chief is that he'd be the first third-party rep in Smash to be from a Western studio. I personally think this is a pretty big deal. Smash is dominated by Japanese-made characters, with only 3 on a roster of 74 that were made by Western studios. Nothing wrong with that, considering most of the icons of gaming come from Japanese studios, but I think Western devs could use a bit more love, and Master Chief is easily one of the biggest gaming icons from the West. When Halo first came out, it was a massive hit. It revolutionized console FPS into what it is today. Back in the 2000s, Halo was everywhere in the industry, especially with companies claiming to have a Halo killer. Halo was that big and influential. Finally, Chief has a ton of moveset potential. I've heard tons of people dismiss Chief because we already have Samus, or what can he do that Doom Guy can't? And to those people, I'm sorry, but you have no idea what you're talking about. He's got tons of weapons, grenades, equipment, vehicles, armor abilities, and Spartan abilities to pull from, with a bunch of games, comics, novels, animations, and so on to pull content from. There's a lot to build a moveset from, which is what I'll be talking about next. If Chief were to get in, how might he play? What music would be included? What would his stage and final smash be? Strap in guys, this could be a long one because I'm going to go over all that and much, much more. The Master Chief is a Spartan 2, Spartan 117 to be exact. Spartan 2s are super soldiers in the Halo universe with enhanced speed and strength, and they all wear Mjolnir power armor that weighs in about 1 ton. Spartans are incredibly skilled not only in hand-to-hand combat, but also with just about any known weapon in the galaxy. Spartans are insanely deadly on the battlefield, and Chief is one of, if not the best. To best reflect all of this, Chief needs to feel a certain way. His gravity should feel a bit floaty, much like in his home series, but his weight should be pretty high. Not as high as someone like Bowser, but pretty high up there. Chief's movement speed should be fairly average, as should his jump height. In terms of weight, gravity, speed, and jump height, Samus would be a good character to mimic here. As for Chief's game plan, I decided to take inspiration from Halo's multiplayer. Halo multiplayer is all about map control. Being able to lock down positions and control powerful areas and weapon spawns is vital to winning any Halo multiplayer match. And I think this is a good idea that should translate over to Chief's gameplay style in Smash. Not only would Chief players have to think about stage control, but also about Halo's combat triangle of guns, grenades, and melee. You see, most of Chief's attacks have very few startup frames, but the end lag on his moves would be long. This means as a Chief player you would have to commit to your actions and make sure they count, otherwise you leave yourself open to be punished. Now let's talk about the actual moveset. Now, since Chief's specials are so important and unique, I'll discuss them first. I'm also going to discuss 2 potential ideas for Chief's moveset, with one being more ambitious than the other, so keep that in mind. Both movesets will work fine for Chief. His down special will be switching Chief's active weapon. Master Chief uses a 2-weapon system, just like he does in the Halo games, and this special allows you to switch between the 2 you have. Chief spawns in with the assault rifle and the magnum, since those are his most iconic weapons. Now for the more ambitious moveset idea, the down special would have a secondary function, as it would allow Chief to swap out his current weapon with a new one. Over the course of a match, whether you have items on or not, weapons will spawn in that only Chief can pick up and swap out with his current one. The weapon spawns are fixed, as is the time they spawn in. 10 seconds before they spawn in, a timer will pop up and the location of the weapon spawn will be marked with a hologram. When the timer runs out, the weapon will spawn in. There are 10 possible weapons that can be spawned into a match. The shotgun is a weapon with incredibly poor range, but a ton of power and knockback behind each shot. The weapon essentially works like a smash attack, but one that you can use even in the air. The sniper rifle is a weapon that has the best effective range out of all the weapons, and deals a ton of damage, but it has a low fire rate and only 4 shots per magazine. The rocket launcher is a powerful weapon. The rockets deal splash damage, but they travel kinda slowly, and you can only fire 2 rockets before reloading. And the explosion from the rockets can hurt you as well. The needler is a weapon that fires slow tracking needles at your opponents. If enough needles stick into your opponent, the needles will super combine and explode. The needler is incredibly weak to shields though, so keep that in mind. The plasma pistol is a weapon that can be charged up to fire a charged bolt of plasma. The plasma pistol doesn't deal a lot of damage, even a charge shot, but it deals a ton of damage to shields, with the charge shot being able to break shields in a single blast. The plasma pistol doesn't need to be reloaded, but if you fire it too quickly, it will overheat and you'll need to let it cool down before you can use it again. The plasma rifle is a weapon that's fully automatic like the assault rifle. However, the plasma rifle deals more damage to shields but less damage to opponents overall. Just like the plasma pistol, the plasma rifle has an overcharge system rather than a reload system. The battle rifle is a 3 burst shot weapon. It's sort of like a slightly less accurate but more powerful magnum. The Spartan laser is a charge weapon that fires a powerful laser. The charge up time is long, but the power behind each shot is incredibly powerful. Smart uses of the Spartan laser would lead to some really cool moments. The grenade launcher is a weapon that fires a grenade that explodes after a few seconds of being fired. You can actually hold the fire button down to remotely detonate the grenade's explosion when you let go of the button. This remote detonation does a bit less damage, but it can break shields. Finally, the sticky detonator is a weapon that fires an explosive round that can be detonated by pressing the fire button again. Think of it like a mix between Mega Man's Crash Bomb and Snake's C4. Keep in mind these would only appear if the mechanic of weapon spawning is given to Chief or not. If not, then his down special would simply switch his active weapon, and he'll only have the AR Magnum. His neutral special is firing the current weapon. The AR is fully automatic but is inaccurate at range. On the other hand, the Magnum is semi-automatic but is more accurate. Holding down the B button will allow Chief to keep firing these weapons while also being able to move around and aim them. The AR has 32 shots before it has to reload, while the Magnum has 12 before you have to reload. Chief's side special is throwing a grenade. Chief has 2 different types of grenades he can use, and he spawns in with 4 of each. The frag grenade explodes 3 seconds after it hits a wall, ceiling, floor, or opponent. The grenade can bounce off walls and floors easily. The plasma grenade explodes 4 seconds after it hits a wall, ceiling, floor, or opponent. The grenade doesn't bounce well and has a small explosive radius, but it can stick to opponents just like it can in the Halo games. Grenade counts regenerate over time, but it takes a while, so you have to use them carefully. You can also switch between your grenade types by pressing B while shielding. While this seems fairly similar to Snake's neutral special, keep in mind that unlike Snake, Chief can't cook his grenades, and he's more limited on what angle he can throw them at. Chief's final special is his up special, the jetpack. This recovery works a lot like Rob's. So long as Chief's jetpack has fuel in it, he can use it to fly, but once it runs out, watch out. This recovery isn't supposed to be used for attacking, but it does have a small hitbox where the flames are. Now that his specials are done, let's discuss his other moves. Chief's normals are mostly taken straight from the Halo games, but I had to get creative with some of these. His jab is him swinging the butt of his gun forward. It's a single strike jab, much like Ganondorf's, as is the basic melee attack with firearms from the Halo games. His forward tilt is a sucker punch. This attack comes from the Halo games, where this attack is sometimes used for the melee with the plasma pistol. His up tilt is actually an upwards kick. This attack is Nicole 458's grunt punt move from Dead or Alive 4. Chief's down tilt is the slide from Halo 5. This attack functions a lot like Mega Man or Cloud's slide, in that it moves Chiefs forward and allows him to move under some projectiles and attacks. Chief's forward smash is a forward kick attack. This kick is based off the kick he does in the kickoff assassination from Halo 5. Chief's up smash will be a big uppercut, partially inspired by the default ball assassination from Halo 5. Chief's down smash will have him hover slightly above the ground when charging and then slamming his fist down when activated. This is slightly based on the ground pound, as well as the terminal velocity assassination from both Halo 5. Now for the aerials. Chief's neutral air is basically the same as jab, only in the air. Chief's forward air has to put both his hands together and then slamming down. This is similar to an air assassination from Halo Reach, and it can spike. Chief's back air is 2 backwards kicks. This is basically an aerial version of Nicole's Mark 6 roundhouse kick combo from Dead or Alive 4. Chief's up air is an upwards flip kick. This one has no origin and functions like Captain Falcon or Ganondorf's up air. Finally, Chief's down air is the ground pound from Halo 5. This attack carries opponents with Chief, so you can use it for crazy plays or to style on people. You can't cancel the ground pound though, so be careful where you use it. Now we're on the Chief's grabs and pummel. All of Chief's throws are based on Halo 5 assassinations. His pummel is punching his opponent in the gut. This is a reference to one of the basic assassinations from Halo Reach. His forward throw has Chief plant a plasma grenade on his foe before swinging them around and tossing them away a few frames before they explode. The explosion from the plasma grenade is smaller and weaker than normal plasmas, but it can still damage other opponents. This throw is based on the Supernova assassination. Chief's back throw has him throw his opponent behind him, with their heads slamming on the ground. This is based on the lawn dart assassination. Chief's up throw has him set his opponent on their knees. He then knees him in the face, repelling him upward with his thrusters, sending the opponent upwards. This is based on the liftoff assassination. Finally, Chief's down throw has him pin his opponent to the ground and punching him in the gut multiple times. This is based on the fisticuffs assassination. Now for a few more miscellaneous attacks. Chief's dash attack is a shoulder charge with his thrusters that give him some extra force behind the attack. This is based on the Spartan charge from Halo 5. His ledge get-up attack has him kick with both feet up and onto the stage. This is somewhat inspired by his Ghost Hijack animation from Halo 2 onward. It would look and function a lot like Mario's ledge attack. Chief's get-up attack has him punch both sides of him. This doesn't have a particular origin, but again it looks and functions a lot like Mario's get-up attack. Finally, we have Chief's Final Smash. Now thinking of a Final Smash for Chief was hard, not because of a lack of options, but because there were simply too many. The Mac Cannon target designator from Halo Reach, the Scorpion tank, the Mantis, and even Chief getting assistance from the rest of Blue Team were all considered, but ultimately I wanted to reference not only an iconic moment from the series, but also vehicles, since Halo is known for them among other things. What I came up with is a Final Smash I like to call Warthog Run. When Chief activates his Final Smash, a Warthog driven by a Flood combat form will drive by in front of him. If a player is hit by the Warthog, Chief will hijack the vehicle, causing the combat form to explode. We'll then see that the opponent or opponents that got hit by the Warthog get sent to the Pillar of Autumn as it's exploding, like at the end of Halo CE. The opponents will then be attacked by the Flood, who will swarm around them. Then Chief will come riding in on the Warthog and ram through the players and Flood. Functionality-wise, the Final Smash is basically Captain Falcon's, but with a Halo skin. But at least this one will have a fun Easter egg with it. If you press the attack button when Chief's riding in on the Warthog, he'll honk the horn. Now for some other things. Let's get a few more animations out of the way. Chief's dash animation is the sprinting animation from Halo Reach onwards. His ledge get-up animation is based on the clamber animation from Halo 5, and his walk and crouch animations are the ones they've been using in the game since the beginning. Yes, his crouch is the same. That means you can teabag and smash just like you can in Halo. Finally, his air dodge and rolling animations are based on the thruster pack animation from Halo 4 and 5. Now for taunts and victory animations. His side taunt has him pull out Cortana to look at her for a bit, and then he puts her back into his helmet. Cortana's design actually changes depending on the armor design Chief has, but more on that in a bit. His up taunt has him put the AR over his shoulder and look up. This is based on the promotional renders for Halo 3, as well as the Look Skyward stance from Halo 5. His final taunt is his down taunt, where he pulls out a UNSC flag, waves it around for a bit, and then plants it in the ground. This is based on the end of the Macroll 1999 world premiere of Halo. All of Chief's victory animations will be based on various box arts for the Halo games. His first victory animation has him aiming the AR to his left, then to his right, and then ending with him aiming at the camera, with the final position being a reference to Halo CE's box art. His next victory animation has him walk up to a pile of rubble with dual SMGs, and then striking a pose at the top of the pile. The pose he'll strike will be a reference to Halo 2's box art. His final victory animation will be him ground pounding into frame and then looking up. Chief looking up at the end will be a reference to Halo 4's box art. Finally, there's a stage intro animation. This intro involves Chief crashing down onto the stage in a UNSC drop pod. Once it lands, the door comes flying off and Chief hops out, armed and ready to fight. This will be a reference to a cutscene from Halo 2. Now that Chief's moveset and animations are completely done, let's finish off by talking about everything else. When picking a stage for Smash, you really need to make sure the location is not only iconic for that series, but also memorable and interesting. I knew in picking something for a stage, I wanted the stage to take place on a Halo ring. The imagery of the ring in the background is uniquely Halo. From there, I tried to think of an iconic multiplayer map or mission that took place on a Halo ring. Ultimately, it came down to the multiplayer map Blood Gulch and the mission The Silent Cartographer. I ran into too many problems adapting Blood Gulch into a Smash stage due to the way the level was designed. So instead I picked the Silent Cartographer as the Halo stage for Smash. This stage would specifically take place in front of the entrance of the map room, with the camera facing the beach. Layout wise, it'd look a little bit like this. As you can see, there's a wall to the left and a downward hill leading to a walk-off on the right. There would be a hole in the middle leading to a pit. There would also be a platform hovering above the pit, which isn't there in the original, but I figured it'd be a nice touch for gameplay reasons. Not only can you see the beach and the Halo ring in the background, but you can occasionally see a battle go on back there between the Covenant and the UNSC. As a side note, this stage could also be called Installation 04 instead of the Silent Cartographer to make the name shorter. As far as music goes, I have no idea what would be the limit and what songs will be remixed, but I made a playlist that you can listen to in the description of this video that'll give you some good ideas for potential tracks. To cap this off, let's discuss Chief's potential costumes and colors. Chief's default outfit would be based on his Halo Infinite design, which seems to be mostly based on his look from Halo 2 and 3. Two potential alternate costumes could be his Mark V armor from Halo CE, or his Mark VI Gen 2 from Halo 4 and 5. For colors, Sakurai could go in one of three ways. He could either base Chief's colors off of other multiplayer teams, off of other Halo characters, or a mix of both. I think Sakurai would go for a mix here. His default color would be the standard green, with colors 2, 3, and 4 being red, blue, and yellow. His final four colors would be based on other UNSC protagonists throughout the games. Color 5 would give Chief black armor and a blue visor as a reference to Spartan Locke from Halo 5. Color 6 would give Chief gray armor and a brown visor as a reference to the default appearance in Noble 6 from Halo Reach. Color 7 would give Chief black armor with a white stripe down the middle and a silver visor as a reference to the Rookie from Halo 3 ODST. Chief's final color would give him brown and red armor as a reference to Spartan Jerome from the Halo Wars games. Well, I think that's everything. All in all, I think this is how Halo and the Master Chief should be represented in Smash. A little mix of old and new. Hopefully this happens someday. Maybe it won't happen in Fighters Pass 1 or any potential future Fighter Passes for Smash Ultimate. Maybe it won't even happen for the next Smash game after Ultimate. But hopefully it happens one day, and hopefully when that day comes, he isn't a half-baked character and the series doesn't only get 2 songs or something like what happened with Final Fantasy.
We have them all. Throwing a grenade.